Hey everybody, it's Jen Tarrant, and this is Iridescent Dragonflies, the show. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so happy that you are here. This is part 3 of Taming Pandemic Fatigue. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about deep anxiety for the future. Perhaps you've been feeling like, when is it ever going to end? And what's it going to be like when it does? And we can start to really develop some deep anxiety around those unknowns. So that's our topic for today. But before we get started, I want to tell you guys about a couple of upcoming events that are happening. An online workshop, Life After Loss, is going to be happening on February the 25th from 5 to 6:30 Mountain Time. Carolyn and I are leading this workshop. It's about learning to navigate through grief of all kinds, whether that's the loss of a loved one, a job, a relationship, a pet, or anything else. We experience loss for a lot of reasons, and we've created this workshop to help meet you in that place and give you some really functional tools to navigate through and have support as you move through such a difficult time. The next one is a chakra balancing workshop, and that's going to be at Journey Beyond a Holistic Center in Scottsdale. This workshop is happening on February the 26th starting at 5:30 Mountain Time. And this will be in person. And we're going to work on balancing the chakras and particularly looking for ways to build in some emotional support as we do. So I think this is going to be a great one if you happen to be local in Phoenix. I'd love for you to join me there. For both of these workshops, you'll find links in the description of the video. And then finally, I'd love to invite you to join me for Create Your Balanced Life Spring Edition. This is a 12-week transformation for mind and body using the wisdom of yoga and Ayurveda. So if you've been interested in learning more about Ayurveda, or if you're wondering, like, can yoga postures actually help me with my life? The answer is yes. And there's a lot of other great techniques associated with yoga and Ayurveda that can give us support, encouragement, and help us to build a much more balanced life. I'd love for you to join me. It begins Tuesday, February the 22nd. We'll be meeting twice a week via Zoom. And yes, the recordings will be available if you cannot join us live. That link is also in the description. I hope you can join me for that as well. All right, so let's dive into it, you guys. Have you been feeling a deep anxiety towards the future? Wondering, what is this going to lead to? What's it going to look like when we get there? I know that I have wondered that too. You know, when this all first started, we thought it would be a few weeks or maybe a couple of months or so and everything would get back to normal. And I think we're all recognizing that normal has changed. And so what does it look like as things begin to taper off when that happens? Are things going to go back to somehow the way they were before? Or are we adapting to a whole new normal just all the way around, and some things will never quite be the same? It can be kind of a really difficult thing to contemplate, right? Like, well, I don't know what normal is other than normal before pandemic. Well, none of us do. And so as we navigate this together, I'd love to share a few techniques that are going to help us and support us as we do that. As we consider this, I'd love to also look at the dragonflies. Dragonflies are deeply tied to our emotions. They, you often find them around water, and any animal that is tied to the water is also tied to our emotional aspects because water represents our emotional part of ourself. And so whenever we think about the wisdom of the dragonflies related to our emotions, some questions that we could ask ourselves are, what feelings are you hiding? Maybe it's not hiding, maybe it's pushing away. Maybe you feel that anxiety bubbling up and you're like, no, I don't have time to deal with that. No, I can't do that right now, or I won't. And so what feelings are those? What are you pushing away or hiding? Another question we can ask is, what feelings are self-created illusions? So is there a way where maybe we're actually making things harder than they already are? And I don't know if you immediately identify with this, but I totally do. You know, when I get myself good and upset, I can create new things to be upset about. Maybe I'm not that upset that something happened at work, but I'm going to make a bigger deal out of it because I'm just upset in general. So I don't know if you can relate to that, but I definitely can. And when I stop and ask myself a question like this, I can be real, bring it back and be like, you know what, I'm really not that mad about that. I was just kind of making a big deal because I felt like making a big deal. And then another one that we could consider is, what do you need to explore? Maybe there's this anxiety, maybe that's new for you. I know a few years back, I experienced anxiety, like true anxiety for the very first time. And it took me a little bit to even figure out what that was. What is that feeling inside? I don't know this feeling. I definitely don't like it. And so I needed to explore it. Like, what is this telling me? Because our emotions have all kinds of messages for us, right? Anxiety might mean that we need to spend more time grounding, more time connecting with other people, more time creating and putting our daily routines, weekly routines into place so we know we have things to count on that we actually can control. So these are some really good questions as we kind of delve into that world of emotions and recognize that there's so much value when we question those emotions, when we ask them what they're about, when we ask them what more there is to know. We might find some really, really great information. All right, breathing practice. Once we've identified these emotions, maybe we've explored a little deeper, done some journaling or at least some thinking, we may find those emotions even getting a little more intense. And so a great way to bring this down is with a calming breath practice. And the one I'm recommending for us this week is the box breath. The box breath, if you imagine it visually, draws a little box. We would inhale for, let's say, the count of 4 for our purposes today. Inhale for 4, pause for 4, exhale for 4, and pause for 4. And so it would look something like this. I hope you can hear this over the video. And just in case you can't hear, it's inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. And several rounds of this. You guys, when I take the time to practice this breath, even like 2 or 3 rounds, I can feel myself calming down that quickly. This can take as little as 30 seconds. The effect is even more if we lengthen that out, maybe an entire minute. Maybe you have a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 to devote to this counting box breath. And we will begin to feel, you'll begin to feel your entire body, your mind, everything settling down. You may even notice shoulders starting to relax away from your ears. And if you're clenching in your jaw or anywhere else in your body, you may begin to feel yourself starting to really soften and relax. This is one of my very favorite breathing practices. The only thing I would say is just, practice with awareness. And if in any way pausing the breath causes you anxiety or discomfort, or it doesn't feel right for you, then just skip that part and count in for 4 and out for 4. Listen to your own body and choose what works best for you in any given moment. This can be combined with a yoga posture I'd like to recommend for today. And that yoga posture is simply laying down on the floor, which I don't really have enough room to show you right here, but you guys know what laying down on the floor looks like. You could even do this laying down in bed or on a couch if that's better for you. But I want to focus on this aspect. So we'll pretend I'm laying down and placing a folded blanket right across the belly area. And as we place this blanket, you could even do a pillow or something like that. This gentle weight is very, very calming. You may have heard it called belly press if you practice it in the middle of a yoga class. And that belly press provides a deepened sense of calming because it is grounding, right? We're adding a little bit of weight, not a lot. Or if you have a weighted blanket and you want to add a lot more weight, you could do that too. And this is very calming and soothing to us, especially whenever we're feeling our anxiety is really starting to get high. This helps to bring us back down. Another great way to bring the energy down is to do a shower meditation. And this shower meditation is basically take a shower. And while you're there in the shower, imagine that peace is what's flowing over you in addition to water. So the water's flowing over, hopefully it's nice and warm. And imagine as you're, washing your hair and taking care of all the things you need to do, that peace is in that water too. This is a great way. You could even imagine that water washing away some of your anxiety. I love this one. I think it's super simple, super practical. You can do this every day as you get ready, for work or for whatever the day's activities are. All right. Essential oils. I'd love to recommend a couple of them for reducing anxiety. One of them is a blend called Adaptiv, and it's the word Adaptiv without the E on the end, so just Adaptiv, and that's it. This one is blended to help us navigate through life's challenges, and I find it to be calming, but also empowering. And so this one can be a really fun one. And then another recommendation is Neroli. And if you haven't ever smelled this one by itself, you'll probably recognize it right away because it is a scent in a lot of perfumes, particularly if you tend towards the more like sort of herbal and natural types of perfumes, that you will find this one as an ingredient in a lot of those types of perfumes. All right, so we've got our breathing practice, we've got our shower meditation, we've got our Neroli or Adaptiv oil. And for today, I'd love to wrap up our time together with a simple affirmation. I now choose to believe that all things work together for my good. I now choose to believe that all things work together for my good. I now choose to believe that all things work together for my good. All right, Dragonflies, thank you so much for joining me for part 3. Tune in next week. We'll wrap it up with part 4 on taming pandemic fatigue. But until then, I hope you are well, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.